number 3.
We have some history.
We do. It is now we have some understanding of some things and stuff, and he's moving through the story and the paces a bit.
So let me just say you've been reading, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you've read through issue 12.
I am almost there.
Okay, and so you liked it, obviously, because you kept reading.
I kept reading.
Or you had a morbid curiosity because it was so terrible that you just kept reading.
I kept reading.
Because I know you, right? Like you have this sort of morbid curiosity, right? Like of thinking, like, could it possibly be this bad?
I find it funny that you even just started the podcast with this. Because this was not even a conversation we had over dinner this week. Like that wasn't even we didn't even broach the topic.
Yeah, of how bad it is, or that you would keep reading something in the hopes that it would get better.
Oh my god, I almost called you out on this and was like, why did you subject me to such a book if you knew? Like,
well, I knew, but the question is, like, the question is, did you know?
I didn't.
Did I know that you know?
But
that I know.
But now I have to read the whole thing all the way through to just. Yeah, I mean, it's.
Oh, just wait till you get to the reveal. I don't know if are you to the reveal already at issue 12?
No, I'm not. I'm on issue 9. I'm on issue 9 right now.
That's the best. Yeah.
So,
well, speaking of things that were canceled, do you know Multiplex's first appearance? By the way,
yes,
we're jumping right in. We're at a beautiful cover. We've got ACO is back. So we've got the cool art again.
ACO's back.
We've got this weird sort of. I don't know if this is ACO on the cover. Actually,
I don't know. It just looks really cool.
Bottom. Yeah, I could be wrong. So I'm going to back off on that. Let me find out who the actual cover artist is. But yeah, so we've got a pretty cool cover. It's got a lot of line art, and it's gritty. I kind of like it.
Very.
It's very 90s in the 20 teens here.
Yeah.
For a 2015 cover. And then we flip the page. The alt cover is really interesting.
Oh yeah, that it's like, whoa.
That one is like a shadow boxing all the multiplexes, right?
Yeah, and that one is a very 2015 cover.
Yeah, I actually really like that cover though.
Yeah, it's a very modern cover. I appreciate both covers for what they are. I find them both unique, interesting, and I like them. And that's what just kept me jumping into this book.
Well, let's jump right in. So I did want to say though, I'll talk through the history here while we talk through the fight with Multiplex. So we're in Oakland. Is that where we left off? I thought we left off in somewhere else.
No, we left off in Oakland. Subway? I thought it was a Boston subway, but it was going back and forth because we're like it said Boston, but why would they and you asked the question, why would they extradite her from Oakland to Boston?
Well, there is a lot of movement from Boston to Oakland to Boston to Oakland and back and forth. Like, yes, it does get a little bit confusing.
Yes, and now he can move through doors and stuff like that, and
like this week or this month, the West Coast Avengers appearing in Boston.
Whoa, the band?
That's awesome. Avengers West Coast, because that's the one you read.
Yes,
I read the West Coast Avengers. You read Avengers West Coast.
Yes.
There was a little name change in there, just to clarify.
Yes.
I think I was done reading before it became Avengers West Coast. But anyway, because you've got another character in there. You've got the best Captain America. Yeah. Anyway, so we are in Oakland. There are a lot of multiplexes, and he's totally like Multiplex has a complex.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's the man with a million clones. He doesn't even know who he is.
He doesn't.
He's all upset with that. You want to guess why he doesn't know who he is?
Why?
Well, because Multiplex was
Yeah.
part of the DC implosion.
No.
Remember the DC implosion
Oh
in
man.
1978?
Oh no.
From like 20 podcasts ago? It's
Yeah.
back.
when everything kind of like shifted and they lost all their stuff because of
They
a
canceled.
snowstorm.
Yes, because of a snowstorm, and they canceled All-Star Comics, Aquaman, Army at War, Battle Classics, Black Lightning, Challengers of the Unknown, Claw, The Unconquered, DC Special, DC Superstars, Doorway to Nightmares, Dynamic Classes, Firestorm, House of Secrets, Isis, Commandy, Metal Men, Miracle Men, New Gods, Our Fighting Forces, Secret Society of Supervillains, Shade the Changing Man, Showcase, Star Hunters, Steel the Indestructible Man, Super Team Family, Teen Titans, Welcome Back Cotter, and The Witching Hour. And which of those comics was Multiplex from? Go.
All of them.
I guess technically he could have been from all of them since he can clone himself a billion times. But which comic? Come on, give it a guess. All those ones I just read.
All of the ones that you just read.
Yeah, of all
Welcome
the ones
Back
I just
Cotter,
read,
of course.
he was definitely from. Well, he was the villain in Welcome Back, Cotter. Yes, you're 100% right.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, because the.
I'm guessing it was probably a superhero book.
I'm thinking it. Boy, oh boy. One of the ones you named off.
There you go.
Could it have been? Could it have come out of the New Gods?
No.
Oh, okay.
But he does have a New Gods-esque costume now, so
yeah.
I'm gonna give you bonus points on that. But that was actually a redo of the costume later.
Oh, okay.
He actually was a Firestorm villain.
Oh.
First in Firestorm number 2.
Interesting.
Which makes sense because the multiple person could pull the two fire. Yeah.
Apart. Oh, I was like, there's no way part of Commandy. There's no way. House of Mysteries. There's no. Okay.
I mean, you could have gone for Showcase since Showcase always was like a new.
Oh yeah, possibly.
Could have been Secret Society of Supervillains.
That's true too.
But that's all wrong. Well, we turned the page and we're at a dance party.
Dance party. Oh yeah, because it's his birthday.
And everybody's there. Jason's on the dance floor having it up.
Yeah.
In some in a fantabulous pink shirt and weird off-color plaid shorts.
Yeah. And loafers.
Yeah, and Midnighter's enjoying the scenery.
Yeah.
That's really all we need for that page.
Right.
We flip the page and his friend Tony is there,
right? Tony
the wingman. Tony from Boston.
Yeah, Tony from Boston.
So because we are back in Boston. So Towers earlier in Boston. Okay,
yeah.
Back in Boston. So we're at a gay nightclub in Boston. Awesome. Okay. And it's Matt. His name's what? I'm so confused.
Matt. He's wearing a fire shirt. Look at that shirt. That's like so 90s.
Well, anyway, Midnighter's current significant other's on the floor, and we've got a fire shirt. It's outstanding. Yeah, I mean, Tony kind of looks like every terrible skater superhero that they tried to create in the 90s, except he looks like he's aged since the 90s.
He looks like Fred Durst.
He does kind of look like Fred Durst. I was thinking of like maybe the infamous Bloodlines hero Jam. Or any of the Bloodlines heroes.
There you go.
Honestly. Because remember all of them?
No.
Name one Bloodlines hero that made it.
I can't.
Hitman.
There you go.
And?
That's it.
And?
I got nothing.
And then? Okay, so, well, we're on. So we are now back in Oakland, and he's ringing a doorbell, and he's talking to Mrs. Riley.
Yep.
And finds out and wanted to talk about her daughter. And he wants to beat up the people that took her, and she offers him breakfast. And that breakfast looks delicious.
It does. He's master detectiving too, because he's picking up on all the clues.
Yeah, well, he's gay Batman. So what would you expect with a fight computer?
Yes.
He is at a gay nightclub, and then he's being a detective. That's what gay Batman would do.
That's exactly what gay Batman would do.
So
when he's not picking up,
I mean, it's
dudes,
pretty
he's picking
clear.
up
Look,
clues.
but should we really? I mean, real Batman doesn't, with women. So maybe
Maybe Midnighter does
I'm not.
what
No,
Batman don't.
no. Maybe I don't know. I mean, DC Comics said that Batman clearly doesn't, do that,
Well,
right? I mean, that's why we started this whole journey, right? Besides Pride Month.
yeah, it's true.
So, yeah. Well, anyway, so we're learning about Amanda. The fight computer is going on. He's investigating. We're finding out, and we're flipping the page. And now he says he's going to work, and
Oh,
he's
this is some crazy
clearly
stuff.
thrown somebody through a ceiling.
Yeah, like
Convenient. Yeah.
it's I don't know. Like this whole page, there's so much going on, but I really like it.
It's like, aren't we glad ACO is back? Assuming that's how we pronounce the name there. Like
Yeah.
it's just the art is. I'm sorry to whoever the artist was last issue that I've already forgotten who is the fill-in artist, but this is a lot better.
Oh yeah.
But obviously, a series is in trouble when maybe there's a fill-in artist in the second issue.
And
I gotta give some credit to the inker here too.
Oh yeah, for sure. A lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah, and the colors too. But I mean,
oh yeah,
anyway.
that whole top panel is just like boom, color, color. Then that middle is like color, color, boom, boom, boom.
And yeah, we've got somebody got thrown through a roof. He's looking like Morty in an early episode of Rick and Morty when he fell off a cliff. It's exciting. It's not looking good.
No.
And he asks if he's gonna kill him. Oh, of course he is. So anyway, he grabs him, and they're talking about somebody's taking kids, and yeah, he's just kind of on a rampage. And he strings the guy up, and okay,
it's very cinematic.
It is very cinematic. It's very disturbing.
Oh yeah, I mean, if somebody's messing with kids and you want answers, I'm pretty sure this is a way to get them for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's more like a Watchmen character than Batman.
What?
I don't want to get sued, so let's not talk about the Watchmen.
That's right. Okay. Moving
on. Who watches them? No one. Okay.
Not even Midnight.
So now we are back, and experimental gerontology. It's exactly where I thought this book was going to go.
Exactly.
Well, they need raw materials. Talking about dealers, and we've got a shot of Multiplex. They're in the God Garden,
or the wannabe God Garden.
Sure. This is all making sense, right? This is a crystal clear story that requires no past knowledge or explanation beyond what's on the page.
Looks like a cut rate Willy Wonka in his or
Yeah. Well, anyway, okay, we are moving on. Cut rate Willy Wonka is like, hey, raw materials, want the girl, I control the market price. He seems like a jerk.
Oh, totally.
And they're experimenting on somebody, which is always good. And Midnighter is about to come in and take some people out.
Yes. And
now we get another really cool page, but I like the art, but okay.
Yeah, it's a very nice, like the way it's laid out, but it's not as colorful as the last one.
Also, like, I have no idea what's happening. Honestly, like, okay.
I don't think anybody does.
Busts in. Yeah. Midnighter busts in. Well, I guess maybe we're not supposed to know because he's got the fight computer, which means the fight computer predicts all the fights. So he's just got it all figured out.
Yeah, because he says caskets for everyone.
Yeah. All right. And then he sees some guys running away, and he says, "Hey, I'll be right with you." So better than a short order chef.
Yeah.
Okay, now he finds. Oh, okay. This must be Amanda. This must be what's going on. He gets
Oh,
down
okay.
there, and
Okay.
there's a little girl. Looks a lot like her mom.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Stuck in the machine. She just wants out of this thing. Get me out of
And
this crazy thing.
she's not really trusting the guy that just murdered everybody in front of her.
Yeah, I don't
Can't
think I
imagine
would
why not.
either, honestly. You say you're here to help me.
And he says, "Yeah, I did that, and they can't hurt you. Stand back." And she says, "Oh, but what about the old man and his costume guy?" Holy exposition, Batman.
What? Boom.
And then we get a back to now. Oh my gosh. Okay.
This is a crazy page of stuff.
It's looking very spirally.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Like a spiral.
Yes, and Midnighter is just wrecking shop on whoever he's wrecking shop on, which would probably be the
Multiplex?
multiplex.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of multiplex getting dead.
Yes. He's Midnighter's multiflexing the multiplex.
Well, we get to the next page, and he says, "I feel refreshed in you." And now I think is that Willy Wonka there? And yep, it looks like in a different outfit. Yep.
I think so. Cut right. Willy Wonka got his ass handed to him.
He says, "I can't die in a monument to public transit. I'm just not ready for it to be over. Is that wrong?" Yeah. So he apparently stole something from the God Garden, and
so here's a weird question for you, and maybe you can explain this to me. Where the multiplex was multiplex, like were all those clones all him?
yeah,
And so he had hundreds
like
of clones that were him,
it's like evil Jamie Madrox.
and Midnighter just killed like all of his clones.
Apparently,
that's amazing.
I don't know if he killed him. I mean, for a guy that just made it, like this is like Count Dooku territory right here, right? Like,
Yeah,
like appear at the end and then die at the beginning, right? Like,
right.
Granted, I understand Count Dooku was like in the cartoon Clone Wars and all that, and blah 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 blah. But if you just watch the movies, it's like he's a major villain, and then all of a sudden he gets dispatched right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same kind of deal.
I totally understand.
Yeah. So, well, there we go. He murders this guy and
Straight up
kills him after he begs, and yeah, he's dead. We even get a body, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, and we've got a squished head and a big crotch. Like, this is so old school 80s, by the way. I love it when you write the noise of the thing happening right there.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. I'm not gonna lie.
I do I personally enjoy it too. It's like it looks cool.
All right. Well, now he's home for a midnight snack, and he's taking the little girl back home. Amanda's going to her house, and he shares that he was kidnapped and experimented on.
Oh man.
Yeah, and so they're having a touching moment there outside the house, and then he goes back through the door and leaves Amanda there at home.
Bye.
Deuces. Okay, later. I saved your life. I'm not going back for more breakfast. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, I got things to do.
Oh, he does have things to do. Look at that. All right, so he's washing all of his bloody stuff in a sink.
Yep.
And which is a good excuse to get mostly naked.
Yeah, of course.
But we're not going to get all the way naked because it's a comic book.
Yeah.
And he's being hugged and long day at the office. And he says, "Sure, let's say that brains punch, not cards." And he says, like, he's got brains all over himself. Matt, not Jason. I keep getting.
Oh, it's Matt, the other guy. Yeah, Jason's out.
Jason was out. Yeah, Matt was on the dance floor. Yeah.
Jason just wanted to be friend. He got friend zoned real fast.
But real friend zone.
Well,
this seems to be more than friend zone though.
Well, like Midnighter friend zone, like Midnighter tagged him like with the GPS, and Jason's like, "No, sorry, too much, too quick."
Well, they're alluding to a lot of things like about playing doctor and outpatient care and things like that. And we flipped the page. We get to later, so we're way past whatever was going on there. We wouldn't want to show that in a comic book. The guys got too close. Gotta flash forward.
Now they're on top of this giant building.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool looking building. And Matt's like, I never come up here. And he says, and there's Midnighter. So my greatest adventures have been on roofs, for whatever that means. And then they lie down on the roof. Okay, they're hanging out.
Roof. Yeah, of course. It's a cool roof.
Okay, well, we're moving the story right along. And now we get to Opal City. Okay,
Oh, months earlier. This is
who lives in Opal City?
You've
forgotten already.
Would it be Apollo?
Yes, Apollo lives there. And
Midnighter?
Jack Knight.
Oh, Jack Knight?
Who is?
Midnighter?
Oh.
No, I'm just joking.
You're making my soul hurt right now.
I know, that's why I like.
Well, anyway, months earlier.
Who is it, Dan?
Starman.
Oh man, that movie was not so great.
Stop. Stop. You're right. It sucked.
Oh, and then the comic book that they made after it didn't even tie into the movie.
Well, now we're back. It's hard to tell who he is. It's Midnighter, but he doesn't have the cool haircut, so he's different.
Oh yeah, it's more like not Midnighter.
By the way, I saw the haircut in real life, and so did you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was
on Saturday night. We saw the haircut in real life.
Yeah.
I was like, who would ever have a haircut like that? And lo and behold, here we are walking, and we see the haircut in real life.
There it was.
Not this haircut, mind you.
No, the actual Midnighter haircut.
The I'm clubbing haircut. This haircut is like the I think I might be Bruce Wayne haircut.
Yeah, this is the I got a day job in accounting. I need to look good for that meeting.
Hi, I'm Midnighter. I got to put this icon in cornflower blue for you today, and it's all good.
Yeah, exactly.
We're good. So, Andrew, my entire life as an out man, it's all been defined by us. It's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds like it's going to have a breakup soon.
Yep, and you are correct.
Yeah, he says, I don't know how to be me without you. He just doesn't know how to lose because he'll get destroyed by gay Superman. So, yeah, it's no good. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. It's, well, that's rough. I feel like they keep bringing Apollo back for a reason.
It feels like it.
Like, why would you keep like this comic's supposed to be about Midnighter, not Midnighter and Apollo, right?
That's what I thought, but hey, sometimes you often bring back the past to get to the future.
I see.
Just like in the movie.
You would never do that when you're writing.
I actually don't. I don't in some books. I shouldn't say that. I do I don't in my kids' books because it's confusing to the reader. In my more adult books because it sometimes lends to the story and an adult audience can understand these things. But I don't do it as much as this team does. Boy, oh boy, Orlando loves to just keep jumping. It's like double dutch.
One, the interesting thing is that the interesting thing here is that it's like you have to, there's an assumption here, and I get this, right? Because it's a tough balance, right? You're also not usually writing books that I don't want to say this. You're not writing books that have a long history before them that you have to adhere to.
True.
Right. So with that in mind, I think you don't have to build in as much of this backstory that I'm whining about. Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Well,
There
I
we go.
mean, and that's a difficult part too for someone who's read a lot of the stuff. It, I would say anytime you're writing something that has a giant amount of backstory, you run a tough you're running a really tough game, either for fan service or the folks who know, and they're hoping you're going to get it right, and they're going to be very judgmental on how crucial you are with the details,
Yeah.
right? And if you've got multiple things that fit into these stories that you're putting out there in every single issue and bringing all these characters in, it's going to be very, very difficult to service all the fans in that way. If you've got people like myself who have just jumped into the story and they don't know everything that's going on or all the players, uh, then there's a lot of sauce to get lost in. And if you don't have people to guide you along, or you're not willing to do the research, or you start to do the research, then you could fall down the inevitable rabbit hole that there is and start asking questions as to what wait, I'm lost here, what's going on,
Yeah.
how come this is happening, this doesn't make any sense, or why. But hey, I'm trying to enjoy it.
And, I'm a Legion of Superheroes fan, so I probably know this better than anybody after reading all of these years, right? Like, how do you make us happy? It's literally impossible. I mean, you've got a superhero team with over, 30, well, way more than 30, but usually like 25 to 30 characters on a team at one time that spanned since 1958. How in the world do you keep that fan base happy as a writer?
Yeah, it's
Like, there's
difficult.
there's there's literally nothing you could do to please everyone.
It's really going to be a difficult thing to do.
Well, in this case, we have Apollo floating in the sky,
Yeah.
which is always a good Superman look.
Yeah.
Um, and he's like breaking up with him right there. It's so
Breaking it off.
great. Okay. Apollo is very attractive. I just want to add that. Right here. So now we're back to hanging out with Matt. And
Back on the rooftop.
I think Matt and I have a lot in common. Matt said when I was a kid, I used to play the radio to distract me until I could sleep. Bad reception, funny white noise, spent a lot of nights stuttering Chase Lawler tunes, except I wasn't listening to music. I was listening to either Mariners games or like Art Bell.
Art Bell, and all the wild stories that would get spun.
Oh yes, or TalkNet if you go way back in the day. Well, I had an AM transistor radio that I used to hide under my pillow, so I could fall asleep. But yeah, there we go. And anyway, yeah, he's like, we're back to this gardener hid my life storyline, and
Yeah,
Matt's so forgiving. He's like, I don't care where you are
who you
from.
are, you're
Yeah, it's
fine.
just okay. And Midnighter's like, oh, we should rest. I'm sure that was the plan. We should rest. Define resting.
Exactly.
Well, tomorrow. Okay, so this story has been in the future.
Yes.
And the past.
In the past. In the
and
present,
now it's in the tomorrow.
In the tomorrow. It's all over the place. It's a continuity string nightmare.
It's fun.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Where are we at now? We're in the tomorrow in the Northwest Territories, Canada.
Okay. So let me just say,
yes.
Tim Seeley. Okay. Yep. Tim Seeley. And
yes.
Tim Seeley did something terrible. And he also did this with one of my favorite writers, Tom King. They made a character called Agent 37, Dick Grayson. In a comic called Grayson. Yeah, because DC Comics got the great idea that they should unmask Dick Grayson as Nightwing. See, Nightwing just wasn't popular enough. He only had his own comic book. Was only in the Titans all the time. And just so not popular enough that they had to like unmask him and then make him an agent infiltrating Spiral.
So
after we're done with this, I would like you to read the 20 issues of Spiral or
Okay.
of Grayson.
Okay.
In 2015. I'm sure you'll love it.
Okay. I could try. I mean, it's just
You did make it 9 issues into this book.
it's just reading James Bond in a DC book, right?
Oh God,
That's what they've done, right? I mean, that's what I gotta.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I go back and forth between buying Batman books, right, and now I've pretty much
Actually,
stopped. I
yeah.
am actually buying Tom King's. The thing is, Tom King got it back, right? He won 2 Eisner Awards back-to-back years writing Batman, and now he's writing the Batman and Catwoman book, and Tom King's great. You can't. It just goes to show, like, Tom King's one of my favorite writers, but you can't please everybody all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just felt this was a poor editorial choice, right? Like Nightwing, I don't know. It's like when they killed Wolverine and Professor X, in the movies, right? And then let's just get rid of Nightwing. It's like you take things from my childhood and then you murder them on purpose, right? Like you destroy them on purpose. And guess what? I've never bought a Nightwing book again. Like
Well,
they ruined the character for me. To the extent that I just look at the Nightwing books and I'm like, yeah, no,
can't do it. Well,
no
I guess
thanks.
after reading the books, a couple of these issues, it was like, I shouldn't say James Bond. It's more like, because he doesn't have all the cool gadgets and stuff. He's more like an actualized uh um
He's more Mission Impossible than James Bond, and then we have to compare him to Tom Cruise, which irritates me even more.
no, I wasn't even gonna go even. He's not even that. He's like, he kind of is more. Oh man, why can't I think of the character's name in my head? It's ah, damn it.
Jason Bourne.
Yeah, Jason Bourne.
I figured you'd go there. I felt like it was more of Mission Impossible, just the way the story sets are
but
set up.
but not Jason Bourne in the movies and stuff like that, but more like the Jason Bourne from the book series, where he's an actualized person. He comes back
Got it.
stateside. He takes jobs based off of people's needs and things like that.
Okay.
And it's like, oh hey, this person needs it's, if you've ever read them or if anybody else has, it's kind of like you take the concept of the A team and you have the Jason Bourne character, and somebody out there needs help and is in trouble, but they don't know who to turn to because everyone is operating under some sort of, whatever, and they reach out and they find, he finds them, right? Or kind of like the Equalizer. Yeah, Grayson's
Okay.
like
Yeah.
Jason Bourne of the Equalizer.
Okay. Well,
Queen Latifah
anyway,
Equalizer.
it all sucks. Either
What?
way. Well, the Grayson sucks.
I thought you were knocking Jason Bourne in the Equalizer.
Yeah.
What?
Well, anyway, moving on. It's
Moving
not
on.
my thing.
I know.
You know how I love the spy stuff.
I know. It's a joke.
So, is that where Dexter comes in and kills all of them?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, anyway, he's Agent 37, and he's got such a great identity going on. She's yelling Grayson behind you, so they all know who he is anyway.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Oh, good. Yeah, and then on the next page, Midnighter's holding his neck, and we get our first crossover in issue 4. So, way to establish that character. We're gonna have a crossover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, when you think about it, it's just. I mean, Grayson's just. He's. This is normal for him. He's
Having crossovers?
Oh no, I mean, well, maybe, but
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty normal.
yeah, that's pretty normal. But
I would
like,
argue
also,
Robin / Nightwing might be the king of crossovers.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, working with a Batman man.
Yeah,
He looks very
working
Batman-y
with Batman.
in this page with the the stubble and everything like that. Usually he's a very clean. He's got a clean shaven chin line, but right now he's very rugged.
Are we going to discuss gay Batman working with Robin?
What about? It's totally normal, totally healthy. There's nothing wrong with it. I
Okay.
mean, they're adults. They do what
I
they
didn't
want.
say there was anything wrong with it. I just said, are we going to discuss that?
Like, what? Like, you want to write some fan fiction or something like that, or?
I don't think I'm the one to write
that. You're not the one to write that.
It'd be really boring.
It's
be the most boring fan fiction ever. Batman and Robin stare at each other from across the room. Things happen. The end.
It would be.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyway, yeah, well, we're on. So
honestly, like I feel like we ended book 2 with a character that was lost in book 3, and we had no clue what Cut Rate Willy Wonka really was doing with everything, or how he was doing everything, and why he was doing everything, except for the fact he was multiplex. But I didn't even pick up on that until the reveal when he gets his head smashed. So I mean, I was like, huh, cool story, bro.
Yeah.
And
now we get Dick Grayson,
which I mean,
could be
good. So I'm excited. Let's find out what happens next when we return for issue number 4. Yeah, number 4.
Yeah,
4. Count. I had to learn counting
with another guest artist.
Another one. Same guest artist or different guest artist?
Different guest artist.
Wow. It's gonna be this way through the whole entire.
We're really, this. You can tell this was a high priority for DC Comics.
Yeah.
When we have 3 artists in 4 issues.
Wow. Well, it happens. People are busy,
folks. People are busy. We just can't wait for that to come in.
That's right.
Or we weren't ahead enough on the storylines to get the artist up and running.
Yeah.
Which can happen because, yeah, there we go. It's exciting. At least we have the same writer.
Yeah.
I'll let you decide whether that's a benefit or not as you keep reading.
I will tell you next time when we talk more Midnighter in From Russia with Grayson, number 4.
Yeah. So, grief.
I don't know, the cover. I'm just looking at the cover. We'll discuss the cover later, but it definitely does look like a fanfic.
Yeah, let's just say that cover, not my favorite art. The interiors I thought in the next book were a little bit better.
Interiors look really cool, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of topless guys on the interior of the next issue, so I mean, could be worse, I guess.
That's true. Could be worse.
Well, anyway, I think we're yeah. Yeah. The sad part is there's some Steve Orlando stuff I really like.
Yeah.
Just
not this. I mean, I'm enjoying this. I find it I keep coming back to it. So it can't be.
I also kept buying it.
So, I mean, there you go. I mean, like, I guess it's like when you want steak and you go to Sizzler and they have the salad bar, and you're like, I could do a salad, and you just keep going back for plate after plate.
Yeah, I mean,
and now there's no more Sizzlers, but you still want the salad bar.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
It's a very bad analogy, but it's very true. God, rest in peace, yeah. Sizzler.
Well, that's where we're at. So it's a story. We reviewed a story today.
Yeah, that was a story. It wasn't my favorite. Issue number 3, not my favorite issue.
Now, I mean, fortunately, this episode even is going to be It's weird because this is not our favorite issue, but this is much more coherent than our Aries issue I just posted, where we were completely incoherent for like an hour. So at least
Yeah, but
our
we're
one
having a
fan
good
gets a
time talking
coherent
about
Dan
it.
and Greg talking about a comic and just mentioning we didn't like it. So nice of us. I think, when I'm saying I don't like a comic too, this is probably a good time to introduce the creative team, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we of course had Steve Orlando as the writer, and then we had ACO as the penciler. We did like the art though. Hugo Petrus as the inker, colorist, Fajardo, and letterers by Jared K. Fletcher. So, cool. Um, However, we're going to introduce the editors, Mark Doyle, Chris Conroy, and Dave Wildgoss. And editors, step it up here. Step it up. I honestly think, like, I'm not horrified by the art here of the story, but editors, step it up. Help our friend Steve be a little bit more focused.
Make some
And
different
editors, if we're
choices.
having flashbacks, like, give us some freaking context to know what's going on, so you can't
Yeah.
assume I've read every Midnighter book in history.
Yeah, I mean, like, as from a writer's perspective, I mean, honestly, like I said, I enjoyed the art. I enjoyed the story for everything that it was. There was definitely some stuff in there that I was lost in that I wish there was more. For all the things that I didn't like, those are things that I will put into my little toolbox of things that I don't particularly want to do in stories that I write or work on with other people. And if I see it, then I'll make notes so that we don't make those same decisions that made me feel like this was frustrating.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing that other creators out there that are listening to this, uh, sometimes the best way, if you like, the best way to get an education is to read books. The best way to find out what you like and what you don't like is to pick up these books, read them, and see how the stories are told. There's going to be a lot of good stuff and there's going to be a lot of bad things, and hopefully more good than bad. And those little things, those things that you enjoy, take those with you, and even those bad things, don't toss them aside. Put them in your little toolkit so you know how to make them better. Like, flashbacks are not my favorite thing, and it was definitely something an editor told me a long time ago. Don't do too many of those types of things because you're just going to confuse the reader and make it very difficult for the artist, for the reader, and even for yourself to keep that continuity. And that was
Yep.
something that I took to heart, and I just don't do it. And even in books like Starlight, where we do flashbacks, we really limit it and really make it a point to make the art look different 100%, and make the time shift look very, uh, when there's a time shift. Um, and I feel like in issue 3 of this book, there's a lot of things that I don't feel like we got in that sense. So that's what made it very tough.
Yep. 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 And this thing is too, like, I sound like I'm hating on Steve Orlando, but I don't hate Steve Orlando. Like, I bought all sorts of Steve Orlando books. I just don't like this story, right? And so, again, it just, and for the reasons you said, right? It's just very confusing, and the back and forth, and just the fact that we can't even, like, when we're in the middle of doing it, identify like where or when things are.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard because he's got such a pool to pull from. He's going into that well of information and trying to cram it into these 12 issues, I'm sure, and trying to give everybody their their little nuggets and their cherries
Or
and
he's
their.
being forced by editorial to have a crossover with Dick Grayson.
Oh yeah, that could be true too.
And so I've got to, like, truncate my storytelling because now all of a sudden I have to have an artificial crossover, which seems like it's what's going to happen. But
Hey,
I say we leave that for next week.
next week it is.
So we got a DC Implosion villain,
Yeah.
and he died
Yeah. Dead.
lots of times.
Many.
And Willy Wonka died,
Yep.
and
Once.
everybody dies. And so maybe Dick Grayson will die in the next issue.
I don't think so.
What?
He's Dick Grayson. He can't
Spoiler.
die. I'm just saying he's Dick Grayson. He can't die. He's the cash cow right now.
He is not the cash
In
cow.
2015, he's the cash cow. Can't die.
He was such the cash cow that they took. Anyway, okay.
Hey,
well,
no spoilers.
On that note, well, we had almost naked guys.
Yeah.
We had dead multiplex guys.
Yeah.
And we had dead baddies and a rescued little girl. So by the end of the day, I just don't know what we're complaining about here.
Agent 37. That's what you're complaining about.
Ugh, Agent 37. And on that note, I think that's a wrap for this episode of Funny Book Forensics.
I didn't know if I was supposed to say something. I'm trying to turn it off. I'm trying.